Every valuable object has a story. Some are remembered because they survived history. Others are remembered because history tried to erase them. But there is one coin whose journey is unlike any other. A single piece of gold, created during one of America's darkest financial crises, became the center of an international mystery that lasted nearly a century. Governments hunted it. Collectors dreamed about it. Museums wanted it. Courts argued over it. And despite all those efforts, one simple question remained unanswered for decades. How did a coin that was never supposed to exist become the most valuable coin ever sold? The year was 1933. America was trapped in the Great Depression. Banks were collapsing, businesses were closing, and millions of families had lost their savings. Fear spread faster than hope. During this economic disaster, people began keeping gold instead of trusting banks, making the financial crisis even worse. To stabilize the economy, the U.S. government made a historic decision. President Franklin D. Roosevelt ordered Americans to surrender most of their gold coins to the government. Gold would no longer circulate as everyday money. At the same time, the United States Mint had already produced a new batch of $20 gold coins known as the Double Eagles. These beautiful coins carried Lady Liberty on one side and a majestic flying eagle on the other. Designed by the legendary sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens, they were considered among the most beautiful coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. Nearly 500,000 1933 Double Eagles had already been minted, polished, counted, and prepared for circulation. But something extraordinary happened before they ever reached the public. The government suddenly canceled their release. Instead of entering banks and businesses across America, almost every 1933 Double Eagle was ordered to be melted into gold bars. Their monetary value disappeared before anyone could legally spend them. On paper, it was as if these coins had never existed. History seemed ready to erase them forever. Yet history rarely follows perfect plans. Years later, rumors began spreading that a handful of the coins had somehow escaped destruction. Nobody knew exactly how. There were whispers of missing inventory, secret exchanges, and mysterious transfers inside the mint itself. Some believed that a few coins had quietly left the building before the melting order was fully completed. Others suspected inside help. No official explanation ever answered every question. As collectors learned about these missing coins, the search quietly began. Each discovery created more mystery than certainty. Whenever one surfaced, legal battles followed almost immediately. The U.S. government insisted that every surviving 1933 Double Eagle remained government property, because none had ever been officially released into circulation. Collectors argued that history had already taken its course and that these rare survivors deserved preservation. Instead of becoming treasured family heirlooms, the coins became fugitives. For decades, ownership of a 1933 Double Eagle carried enormous risk. A collector might proudly display one in private, only to face confiscation if authorities learned about it. Museums hesitated. Dealers remained cautious. Private sales happened quietly, surrounded by secrecy and uncertainty. Every appearance of the coin felt less like a business transaction and more like the next chapter in an unfinished mystery. Among all the surviving examples, one coin followed a path unlike any other. It eventually found its way into the collection of King Farouk of Egypt, one of the world's most famous collectors. Through an unusual chain of events, an export license had been granted before officials realized the coin's legal status. That administrative mistake changed history forever. When King Farouk was later removed from power, much of his famous collection disappeared into the international art market. The 1933 Double Eagle vanished with it. Years passed without confirmed sightings. Some believed it had been melted. Others thought it had been hidden inside a private collection where it would never be seen again. The uncertainty only increased its legend. Decades later, the coin unexpectedly resurfaced in New York, leading to one of the most dramatic legal battles in numismatic history. Government agents seized the coin, arguing it still belonged to the United States. Lawyers, historians, collectors, and federal officials spent years debating its future. The case attracted worldwide attention because it was no longer just about gold. It had become a question of history, ownership, and national heritage. Eventually, an extraordinary agreement was reached. Unlike every other surviving example, This single coin received official authorization to become privately owned. It was the only 1933 double eagle granted legal status for private ownership after a special payment converted it into an officially monetized coin. That unique decision separated it from every other known example and transformed it into perhaps the rarest legally owned American coin in existence. Collectors immediately understood what that meant. Its value no longer depended only on gold. The precious metal inside represented only a tiny fraction of its worth. The real value came from its impossible history. Every chapter added another layer of significance. Its creation during the Great Depression, the government's melting order, its mysterious escape, international travel, decades of disappearance, courtroom battles, and eventual legalization. Few objects carry such an extraordinary chain of events. Auction houses knew they were not simply selling a coin. They were offering ownership of one of history's greatest surviving mysteries. When bidding finally began, collectors from around the world competed for the opportunity. The price climbed higher and higher until it shattered every expectation. The final hammer price established a new world record, proving that historical importance can become far more valuable than the material itself. The 1933 double eagle became the most expensive coin ever sold at auction, earning nearly $19 million and securing its place in history forever. Yet even after that historic sale, the mystery did not completely end. Several other examples remained in government custody after being recovered over the years. Some were discovered in family collections where descendants never realized the significance of what they possessed. Court cases continued for years as owners fought to keep coins they believed had been legally inherited. Judges examined historical records, mint documents, and decades-old evidence, but the government ultimately retained possession of those pieces. Today, almost every surviving 1933 double eagle remains protected inside government collections or museums. Only one stands apart as the sole example that can legally belong to a private collector. That extraordinary distinction makes it unique not only in American history, but in the entire world of coin collecting. The story also serves as a reminder that rarity is never created by gold alone. Thousands of ancient gold coins still exist, yet few inspire the same fascination. What transformed the 1933 double eagle into a legend was the combination of beauty, history, mystery, politics, economics, and human ambition. Every chapter added another reason for the world to remember it. Perhaps the greatest irony is that the coin was originally worth only $20. It was designed to pass quietly from one person's hand to another during ordinary purchases. Instead, it never completed that simple purpose. It became trapped between law and history, hidden between vaults and collections, chased across continents, argued over in courtrooms, and admired by generations who would never have the chance to spend it. Some treasures are valuable because they survive time. Others become priceless because time refuses to let their story end. The 1933 double eagle belongs to the second category. It is more than a coin. It is a symbol of an era defined by economic collapse, government power, human curiosity, and the unpredictable journey of history itself. Long after its gold has been measured and its market value has changed, one truth will remain unchanged. The greatest treasure it carries is not the metal from which it was made, but the unforgettable story that history accidentally engraved upon it.